Welcome to the Jack Mountain Bushcraft Podcast, episode 132.
Welcome to the Jack Mountain Bushcraft Podcast with your host, Jack Mountain Bushcraft School founder and Master Main Guide, Tim Smith.
I'm your host, Tim Smith. I'm a registered Master Main Guide and have been a full-time outdoor instructor and guide since founding the Jack Mountain Bushcraft School in 1999. We help people become more skilled, more knowledgeable, more experienced, and more confident in the natural world through our bushcraft and guide training semester programs and multi-week canoe and snowshoe expeditions. You can check out the show notes to all of our podcasts at blog.jackmtn.com. If you're interested in learning more about our college-accredited and GI Bill-approved programs, visit the Jack Mountain Bushcraft School on the web at jackmtn.com. And check out our online network and digital learning academy at bushcraftschool.com. Hello and welcome back to the Jack Mountain Bushcraft Podcast. It is September 21st, 2024. Is today the equinox?
It's the last day of summer. I know that.
It's the last day of summer. So that movie that I rented called Endless Summer, total lies. Total lies.
Take it back.
The weather correlates perfectly too.
Yeah,
that
cooling
drop
off.
in temperature. Yeah.
Sitting here in the communications layer, communications floor, communications depot of our semi-subterranean northern Maine layer with Rick and Oz. These guys are just fresh back from the Allagash, where you guys were running the solo canoe expedition course. So we've got some current events to discuss. We're going to break down that course, talk about what's coming up, mixed in with the usual superfluous I don't know. Chatter. Yeah, superfluous chatter. Good one. So, solo canoe expedition course. How'd it go?
Went really, really well. For the first time running it, I think the planning and the work that Oz and I put into it paid off because we left with two happy people that got a lot out of the course, and we got a lot of good feedback, so I think it was a huge success.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this started off as an idea kind of at the beginning of the year and then has developed and grown into this, and I think it's something that a lot of people can use in the future. I think next year it might be at the end of the canoe semester, so if folks want to stick around, they'll be able to take it to the next level. But I think that I don't know, I'm pretty proud of the product that we put out this week. I'm pretty proud of the students for really stepping up to the plate, being willing to learn right along with us, right, as we kind of went through too. But I also tried to look at it from the student perspective. I don't think you would have known that this was our... Now they do. They can listen to that. But no, and they heard us talking. But I think the instruction was right on. I think timing was right on. I think the students got exactly what they needed out of it.
So the students that finished today, they're going home happy. What about the 7 students that didn't come back from the woods?
Yeah. So they didn't successfully pass Stop the Bleed certification, so they're still out there.
Yeah. Or the lost man scenario. They're still working on that, though. I'm going to check on them when they come back in October.
Christmas, we'll check on them, maybe. That's great. So you guys you started the week here at the field school, and then you were in on the Allagash. And it is a very dry fall here. The Aroostook is now just like a little teeny trickle of a stream. It's down around 100 cubic feet per second. And there's no water anywhere in northern Maine, but that's the beauty of the Allagash. All those big headwater lakes and that big old dam at Churchill hold back so much water. So when everything else is bone dry, you guys had water.
Yeah, we didn't have many options, but thanks to Tim, he recommended we go up to Chase Rapids, and it worked out perfectly. We pretty much had control of the whole river. There was nobody up there, so we had the time and choice of picking when we wanted the dam to be opened, and we're able to run it 3 times. So it was a good run.
Yeah, the fact that the Rangers were willing to work with us and open the dam when we needed it, close it when we needed it to. So it was kind of crazy, right? Because they were literally only opening that dam for the four of us.
Well,
right?
like when we were there with the other course in the middle of the summer, it was so busy there, right?
Yes.
You're there, and I don't know how many parties show up first thing in the morning going through, and then it's nice. Like the fall on the Allagash is nice because there's hardly anybody around.
Yeah.
After Labor Day, there's a few guides that'll bring groups out, like fall foliage and stuff, but usually you're battling the lower water. But I think that's the nicest time to be out. The bugs are pretty much gone, and people are pretty much gone. So, great time to be out. I
mean, the ranger told us on Wednesday or Thursday that we were the only folks on the entire Allagash. So when we showed up, there was some fly fishermen, a group of fly fishermen, and then
right there at the dam.
And then some hunters. I don't know if they were scouting or what they were doing, but they were hanging out.
They were doing a whole lot of moose calling.
Last week was a moose week up here. That's the same wildlife management zone as here.
Okay.
And you got to go across Route 11 to get to the other one, or north of the reality. Maybe it is a different one. No. Nope. You're same as here.
Okay.
5.
Yeah. So every out of the 3 boats we saw the entire week, 2 of them had motors. You know what I mean? So it was a great week. I had no complaints. It was like the weather was perfect for us. The scenario was perfect. The Rangers were great working with us. The students were absolutely phenomenal and worked hard every single day. Great attitudes. No frustration even when, right? That frustration phase, especially when you're getting your legs on a river and it's been a while since you pulled, right? You really see someone's disposition, right? And you can see how that frustration can grow, and then does that snowball into having an effect later on where maybe they're in over their head. But instead of snowballing, you saw them make those mistakes and then immediately adjust. And by day 2, man, it was great. And then by day 3, I mean, they were really stepping up their game.
And what, just for the audience out there, intended learning outcomes for this course? What did you hope going into it that they would get out of it?
Yeah, so we hit several topics that we wanted to focus on. Self-rescue being a big part of it. So they got in the water, and we went over different rescue techniques. Stop the bleed certification, they successfully passed that. We ran a mini scenario last night out in the middle of the woods, which we'll be posting some pictures and videos of. And then the equipment repair, I think, was a big success too. So we punctured some holes and had them repair as if they were repairing their canoe.
And I think too, it really prepared them for exactly what the course says, right? For being out on your own, being able to deal with issues as they come up, whether it be a canoe repair or repairing yourself, navigating your way through things, choosing the river. It just kind of took it away from that group mentality that we have so often here because we're training guides to what does it take for me to be out on my own? What does it take for me to scout a river? What does it take for me to open up a new river, right? And I think that's what we wanted to focus on, and I think we accomplished that. I think that there's still tons of things that we can add and trim and do to this course for next year, but I think that as far as the overall mission of the course, which was preparing them to be out solo, I think we accomplished that.
Yep.
At least I hope we did.
Yeah, and they're already talking about plans on trips that they want to do, that they've wanted to do but didn't feel confident. So I think we hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, being able to teach people some new skills, refresh some old ones, and I think building that confidence, especially if you're going to be traveling solo or be the person in charge, like not having that confidence is a deal breaker.
Yeah, totally.
So when people are able to walk away with that, like, okay, now the world's a different place and I can see myself just throw the canoe on the truck and head out,
Yeah.
go see some new ground. That's great.
I think that's a big deal, right? Because even myself probably for a time, do I have the experience to go out? Am I going to be okay? And when you have that confidence, you just throw the canoe on or just walk into the woods and kind of shoot an azimuth and go see what you can go find, right? That builds a whole new skill set and set of confidence for people that maybe they've never experienced before.
But you should definitely check with your local hunting laws before you shoot an azimuth or anything for that, because you don't want to get a ticket. That's right. What are azimuths are in season right now?
They are.
Nice.
Only the north one though.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that that course was such a success, such a hit. And you never know; it could be. Maybe in 25 years we'll sit here and you guys will say, now that we've run 50 of these over the years, that's where it starts. You just get an idea and you try it, and it sounds like everybody had a good time and lots of learning was to be had, and so that's awesome.
We appreciate the freedom to be able to do that too, Tim. So thank you.
Right on. So I'm going to have this course on the schedule probably by the time this podcast airs. So if you're interested in that, obviously there are prerequisites. You got to have a significant amount of experience because you can't really dial in on the fine points until you know the rough points. But I think the schedule for next year, immediately following the canoe semester of July 13th to July 19th, 2025. We'll pencil that in. That's awesome. Other news around here, we just wrapped up week 4 of the fall wilderness bushcraft semester, so 5 to go. It's Saturday morning, we're recording this, and Wednesday coming up will be halfway day, and then we're on the downhill slant. We spent last week, we went on our first trip of the course. We were out on a local lake, big, nice 18-mile long lake with a couple of townships of conservation land, but saw some illegal activity going on out there. We've got an interloper that's now taken up residence in this lake. So I first saw this. My neighbor across the street was out kayaking about 10 days ago, and they're like, look at this photo, look at this video. And I did, and then we saw them when we were out this past week. Tiny jellyfish, apparently they're from a river in China or something, are now inhabiting Scopan Lake. There's got a bunch of video of them and photos. They're too small to sting people apparently, but I'll post a link to the jellyfish, and it's one of those weird things. She's showing me the video, and I'm like, that looks like a jellyfish, but I had no idea there were freshwater jellyfish. I certainly didn't think they'd be here. So
how would they get here from China? That's crazy.
They're invasive in other parts of the U.S., so they probably hitched a ride on somebody's powerboat or something.
Wow.
But it'll be interesting to see the effect they have on the local ecology. Like, I don't know if the fish will eat them. I don't know if the fish eat them. Christopher was saying that maybe the fish eat them in their larval stage, but maybe that helps the fish to grow bigger or something. Like, who knows? Maybe they'll kill all the fish. Like, I have no idea.
I hope it's a good thing.
Yeah, so it's just like one of those sort of we don't know how this is going to end up, or I certainly don't. I'm sure there's smart fish biologists out there who could chart this course for us, but it's just super interesting. So a lake in northern Maine with jellyfish in it.
Dang.
Yeah. They're only about this big around, like the whole thing is about as big around as a quarter, so they're real little. And that's why these ones do sting, but they're too small to sting people.
Is this the first year they're seeing them?
I've never heard of it before.
Or if the rangers
but maybe they've been there, and in the past I wouldn't have thought to look for jellyfish in a lake in northern Maine. But I don't know if they'll make it through a winter or just kind of weird, right? But globalism coming right home here to Aroostook County, maybe we're not immune from all that stuff as we think we are.
Saw them Southerners coming up here.
Well, first China exported General Gao's chicken, and now these jellyfish, they're taking over everything. So we've got 5 weeks to go in the semester. Things are just chugging along. Everybody's doing great. Group's getting along great, having a lot of fun, a lot of cheap laughs, and the weather's starting to turn. So this is where it starts to get real for people. This is where I think it starts to get nice because bugs aren't as much of a factor. It was like 85 degrees 2 days ago, and today the high is like 65. And on the 10-day, it doesn't get up to 80 again. So it feels like we're finally turning that corner.
Yeah.
I don't like that the shoulder season seems so short. I would love it if it was like this for 3 months and take all that heat and summer humidity and replace it with this. I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, the main guide medic's probably going to be pretty chilly.
Yeah, it'll be cold, but that'll be good. It's a good stress to learn how to deal with.
It'll get you prepped for the winter course.
Main guide medic coming up end of October, early November, 2 weeks. It's a wilderness first responder course with a whole bunch of extra stuff that we've added in there. I think in order to have people be able to practically say, yes, I can manage a remote incident. And it will be a lot, cooler then. So we'll have those stresses to deal with. But like we say often around here, we train hard so life is easy. If you're always in your training phase, everything is super easy. Then when you're confronted with a real challenge in the real world, maybe you're not up to the task. But if when you're training hard and things are difficult and challenging, then you're prepared when something goes wrong. So I think we've got only 2 spots left in that main guide medic course. So if you want one of them, maybe get in touch with us sooner than later.
Yep.
This is also the first time we're running that. That's a new program this year. We've had a lot of solid response to it. And that's another one we'll have on the schedule for 2025, probably by the time this episode airs. So we've got that coming. And the only other thing coming up here in Maine is the Autumn Woodsman. And we're about half full with that course. And I always define that one as what it's like to live in the cold before it's real cold. So, things like hot tents, shelters with wood stoves in them, things like that. But we don't have the added complexity of like 8 feet of snow and bitter cold weather. So if you're looking to ease into that lifestyle, the Autumn Woodsman's a great one. No bugs and just a nice time to be out. It can get chilly at night, but we have warm places for people to be, so it's not super arduous. So we've got that coming up as well. Other things we've been working on this course. You've had me interview Christopher. Christopher do the podcast with me. It's his first time back in a couple of years, and he and I have been spending a lot of time on food this course, and I think often what we run into is people who are sort of new to cooking and feeding themselves. They're always thinking, oh, what can I get for like those horrible big bags of salt that masquerade as like backpacker meals or whatever, and they're just awful. So we tend to go the other direction on courses. So we do a lot here with campfire cooking. We've done a lot of different stuff with Dutch ovens so far this course. We're doing quite a bit with smokers. I built a smoker here, and it's working out really well. You've probably seen these online. If you get the little 14-inch Weber Smoky Joe and you add the tamale pot to it, if you can Google that, it'll come up. But I built one of those last year, and we've been using that thing quite a bit, and it just turns out great food, easy to control the temperature. And last week we put together a big pizza oven, and we've got some ideas how to make that even more efficient and awesome. And so last night I whipped up a big batch of sourdough, and the dough's been resting all day, and then we're going to probably do about 15 pizzas in that thing tonight.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, we're just living good. You're not miserable, horrible eating, boil in the bag, backpacker meals and stuff. It's like a giant cinder block pizza oven. Maybe not super portable. We're not backpacking that thing anywhere. But nice to have in a base camp. It sure does make life pretty cush.
It's making me think of what I ate this past week, and I literally eat better when I'm out on a canoe trip than I do when I'm at home. So, yeah, eat good.
It's nice to eat good. We have a saying around here that the only motor you have is your body. And so if you had a fancy sports car and you put crappy old gas with water in it into the engine, it's not going to run great. So the more your body is doing work for you, the better quality of food you should put into it.
Absolutely.
Take care of that beautiful engine. But yeah, we've just been doing lots of fun stuff with food, and in addition to pizza in the oven, baked a nice loaf of bread in there last time when we were all done with pizzas, and probably do that again tonight. And it's just not a struggle to survive around here. Like, oh, what are we having tonight? Are we gonna like slow barbecue cook something and smoke some meats? Are we gonna have fresh pizza and bread? I don't know. It doesn't suck. Like,
you're not supposed to say all this. My family thinks I'm up here roughing it.
Do we fire the pizza oven before or after the sauna this afternoon? I don't know, just a spa day in general, like foods and spas and whatnot. Yeah, life's pretty good around here these days.
It is.
So we've got all that stuff going on. The only other thing I don't have anything on the calendar yet, but I'll be headed down to Austin, Texas for a bit this winter. And I'm hoping to get out on the river there. My good friend in Texas and I have been talking about running the Pecos River, that lower section, after last year's successful run down the lower canyons of the Rio Grande. The Pecos is calling to me. I just got the guidebook for it. It looks great, and it looks like there'll maybe be a bit more water than in the Rio Grande, which would be much appreciated. And if there's interest, maybe even run a couple of canoe or bushcrafty things around the Austin area. So I'll probably be trickling out some information on that when I get some time to sit down and write. So you can look forward to that. If you're in that part of the world and want to get out on the water with us, or work on some hard bushcrafty skills, we can definitely make that happen as well. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else today, guys. My brain's a little fried just from all the good eating and clean living I've been doing.
We literally just got off the river, so yeah, we feel you.
But I'm super glad that the course was a success, and look forward to many future instances of it.
Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure, and again, thank you for the opportunity, Tim.
Right on.
Yeah.
So last plug, if you want one of those main guide medic spots, get in touch sooner than later. That's all I've got. So thanks for being here, guys, and thanks for listening to us. And it's probably a half hour of your life you'll never get back. So next time you see that we release another podcast, remember that and choose wisely.
All right.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You have been listening to the Jack Mountain Bushcraft Podcast. For more information on our professional wilderness guide training programs that are college accredited and GI Bill approved, visit us on the web at jackmtn.com.